What is up, my mind Renovation Nation crew and gang? Appreciate you joining me today for another live cast. A little bit of a different location today. I am coming to you from the library. Yes, that is true. I'm coming to you from the library on today's cast because we are doing our Red Maples quarterly planning session. And so that's what you see on the whiteboard behind me. Just a bunch of notes about the rocks and the things that we're trying to accomplish as a team. And so we are going to talk a little bit today about why quarterly planning is so important and what you can do in order to scale your real estate investing portfolio 5, 10, 15 times in a year. So hopefully that's what you're able to do if you utilize this quarterly planning tool that we're going to talk about today. So if I'm a little bit quieter than normal, it's because I'm sitting in the library and we're actually doing our quarterly planning. Imagine that. It's one of the things we talked about in our quarterly planning today. One of the things we go over in quarterly planning is the strengths that we have, the weaknesses that we have, the opportunities that we have, and some of the threats that are out there. And so they call that a SWOT analysis for those of you that have an MBA. But for those of you that don't have an MBA, those are good things to write down, is that a strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat analysis, SWOT analysis you can do. And one of the strengths we have at Red Maples that we talked about was that we do the hard work. And so while I'm sitting here doing quarterly planning, we're also doing our live cast from the library at the same time. So it's pretty interesting whenever you start building out your company and you're trying to grow and you're trying to grow fast, you need to make sure that you have these quarterly planning sessions. So why is quarterly planning sessions so important to your business? Well, it does a number of things. Number one, it keeps you focused. So that I often use the analogy of like this. If you have a wall in front of you and you don't have a goal to get to behind that wall is going to be an easy obstacle to stop you. And so these quarterly planning sessions allow you to be able to have goals that you're trying for and you're striving towards, and you don't get distracted by what we call in the industry shiny ball syndrome. Oh, there's another shiny ball, I got to go chase that. Oh, there's a shiny ball over there, I got to go chase that. Some of the other benefits of setting goals quarterly is that it allows you to reflect on your progress. And so you can do the things like celebrate wins that you're having as a team. Whenever you reach goals and your goals reach 100% capacity, like one of the goals we had in our last quarter was to lease all of our previous inventory that was kind of getting a little bit aged. And what was interesting is that we got that entire goal done to 100%. So we're able to celebrate those successes of getting any aged inventory leased out. There's also some consequences if you don't plan that can negatively impact your business. So before I get into kind of the framework on what we do for quarterly planning, there's some not so good sides of not doing quarterly planning. One of the negative consequences of not doing quarterly planning is that you're at the whims of the world. You bend to everybody else's wishes. You allow tenants and investors and vendors and the rest of the world to dictate what you're trying to accomplish. And so if you want to own your success, if you want to be the type of person that sets up for true success in this world, then you've got to get in the habit of doing quarterly planning sessions. So what do you do in a quarterly planning session? Well, we talked about it and we touched on a number of different things. The first thing we do is a SWOT analysis. Then the second thing we do is we detail out our quarterly rocks and we review them. Did we hit the previous quarterly goals? Did we accomplish the things that we set out to do? And if not, why? We review the why behind why we didn't get there and what we can do next quarter in order to meet that goal. And then we continue on and we plan out our new goals for the next quarter. Like one of the things that was on our quarterly rocks that you might see from me in this next quarter, maybe coming into Q3, is that I will actually finish the manuscript of a book that I've been working on called Small Multifamily Mastery. Because you want to be able to master some of the techniques and the red flags that are out there when you're doing your acquisitions of small multifamily. And I've received lots of questions about it. And so I wanted to make sure that you had a tangible resource for those that have been following me online through the last 3 episodes as I first got my start. There's been questions that have come and I want to make sure that we get those answered. Then some of the other things we do during our quarterly planning session after we identify our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities and threats, and we go through those quarterly rocks. The next tool that we utilize after setting our goals is we have what we call our brainstorm session. So what is that? That's where we take these different things, these squirrel moments that have come up over the last quarter, and we talk about them. Hey, we should add that to our quarterly planning roadmap. Hey, we should add that to our quarterly planning roadmap. And we talk about those things and we discuss those things. Are these directions that we want to take? Do we want to start working in that direction on those items? That way we can stay lightning focused towards the goals that we have as our organization. And what's been interesting, we've grown Red Maples over just the last couple of quarters, over 50% as an organization. So as we continue to grow the organization and we continue to scale by adding the right resources and teams, we're able to hit our next set of goals and our next set of goals, and that's what keeps you focused. All right, so it's important in understanding also your finances in your quarterly review. This is where you can look at some of your different budgets and where are you profitable and where are you making money and where are you not making money. One of the things that we do is we sit down and we calculate out our labor rates. Are we going to be profitable in some areas? Are we not going to be profitable in those areas? What is our overall revenue per employee or staff member that we have on board? You have to look at those things quarterly in order to make sure that you're staying focused on the goals. Unit counts. Are you trying to grow your units? Are you trying to stabilize some units? Those are things that you can look at on a quarterly basis and make sure that you're staying focused towards the outcomes that you're seeking. All right. So not only do you want to take some time during your planning then to obviously do your SWOT analysis, review your goals and rocks, do that roadmap discussion, and then look at your finances. But lastly, you need to look at your business processes. One of the things that I think separates out the Red Maples team and organization and what makes us so effective at the things that we're doing is not just some of our process systematized, but you can actually hear how even the quarterly goal setting process is systematized. So we go into each one of our systems and we look to see, is that system broken? Does it need revamping? Does it need improvement? And these are things that we can do in order to help us improve different processes, improve different workflows. And so my question is, are you reviewing all of these things in your business on a quarterly basis? If you're not, that is a great reason why investors are choosing to partner with Red Maples. They're choosing to partner with Red Maples because we take the time to do the quarterly planning for their business, where they can continue to do the quarterly planning on growth and their market research. Remember, we were talking about the pyramid and the things that form the foundation is our market research. The other side of that pyramid, this right side of the pyramid, that tells you that is your growth. That is your scale. And then the third side of the pyramid, or the framework that we've been working through, is your management systems, your systems. And so you got to have good systems in order to be able to hit your goals. And that's the last piece that we reflect on as we're doing our quarterly planning. So I hope this has been helpful for you to see how to do your quarterly planning the same way that we would do at Red Maples. If you're following me, I did tell you that I was going to talk a little bit about our outsourcer and how we utilize outsourcing at Red Maples as well and utilize a VA. So I'm going to take just a brief moment to be 100% authentic to that comment, and I'm going to talk a little bit about outsourcing. So do you include your outsourcer in your quarterly planning session? The answer to that question is yes, you should include all team members in that quarterly planning session. Do you include your techs in that quarterly planning session? The answer to that question is yes, but you do them on different days. Your leadership team gets together and you work together to come up with your big rocks, your goals. And then you present those conversations to your team members so that they can see what's been going on and what you're trying to accomplish. And then you have a session with them to see if they can help you work towards some different perspective or different viewpoint in order to hit their goals and their role. And so you might do a separate quarterly planning session with that outsourcer. You might do a separate quarterly planning session with a team member, and you may not spend an entire 8-hour day working through those different struggles, those different opportunities, those different quarterly work in progress that you have. But then you're going to spend maybe a couple of hours with those team members. And some organizations do that as a group. Some organizations can take these quarterly rocks in and take them back and do them one-on-one. That's totally up to you on how you choose to do it and what works best within your organization. So another thing that we make sure I'm authentic to that too. Another thing that outsourcers have been really helpful with and virtual assistants have been helpful with is they lift some of the administrative tasks off of our organization that we have, and they help to execute on the back end some of the systems that you want to make sure get taken care of. And so if you're working on those systems, then rolling out those new systems in that next quarter to your outsourcers so that they know step by step on what needs to happen on the back end, the administrative parts, is really helpful for them as well. How to put point A to point B and point B to point C. If you get what I'm understanding, you have to work through that in a planning session. And so that might take you 8 hours every quarter if your business continues to grow like ours. Some of the things that we've been talking about as we continue to grow and scale is maybe we take a couple days. We take a Thursday and Friday and Saturday, or maybe take a Friday, Saturday, and go away as a team. And then utilize that as like a mini vacation for our families, where we spend maybe 8 hours on those 2 days working through some of the quarterly planning. And then the rest of the time we get to spend in vacation with our families. I don't know how you do quarterly planning. However you do your planning for your business, your goal setting, your tools that you utilize, throw those in the comments. That would be a great spot for us to be able to share how you do your quarterly planning and see if there's any insights or tips that others can pick up along the way to help them with their journey of small multifamily mastery. So again, this is Nathan with the Mind Renovation Nation. I appreciate you spending time. I told you I keep these episodes to pretty short so that you can consume them, you can utilize them, and you can implement them right away. If you have any questions, again, you can always reach out to me. You can catch us at red-maples.com. That is our property management website. And then you've also got NathanBushMBA.com. So you have red-maples.com and www.nathanbushmba.com. That's where you can find more content like this if you are interested. Thanks, guys. Have a good afternoon.